Alright, welcome to another commentated match here on vVv Gaming's YouTube channel. This match is myself, vVv Chibo, versus vVv Cheese from Mass Madness Legends, a tournament, I believe it was on April 16th up in Massachusetts. Here we go, game one, we're on Battlefield, my R.O.B versus Cheese's Meta Knight. What you're going to see early on in the match here is I'm going to be playing a pretty good wall game here versus Cheese. A lot of my short hopped areas, I'm going to be retreating backwards to kind of help prevent him from getting in, mixing up air dodges with neutral airs. I mean, Meta Knight does have the tools to get around it, but it's still a pretty good way to get off to start in the match, to help kind of read his movements, how he's going to go about the matchup. I sort of have a set way how I go about the matchup, which I'll modify as the game goes on, but the earlier part of the match, especially in game one, is a lot of learning, seeing what the options that he goes for are, how I can counter that. And unfortunately, you'll see that he did get through the wall setting up. The fact it was on Battlefield made it a little bit tougher for me because of the placement of the left platform. So right now he has a solid % lead, however, I'm still keeping strong here. I'm really surprised that up B there did not kill me. R.O.B dies pretty early vertically. So fortunately, whenever he uses skill moves like this that are easy to land on R.O.B, it'll be harder to use them later on because as they stale out, they do less knockback. It's the second time I was able to protect the ledge there, which both times he did that to me about a minute earlier in the match, and right there, either one of them would have likely killed me or put me in an absolutely terrible position, but I was able to nail the tech there, which basically saves you from the impending death that was about to happen there. You see me start to gain a little bit of momentum here. It went from an absolutely awful lead there for Cheese, or awful for me there. So I was able to just tack on about maybe, I don't know, about 50% or so. Nailing an up air will really be key because that's free 20 damage or so, a little bit less. So if I nail a couple of those along with a couple of throws, it's really going to start racking up that damage. Now, Meta Knight's almost at kill percent, although he finally lands the kill there, but still living to 170% is really what R.O.B is normally going to do in this matchup, where R.O.B is going to be killing Meta Knight around maybe 120, when R.O.B is going to live until about 160 or so. So that kind of percent difference is really going to help here. Is the fact that R.O.B is a heavier character, he lives longer. Even though Meta Knight's recovery is more varied, R.O.B still isn't bad at all. So still just working to attack on damage now at this point at 123. He's starting to get more into kill percent. And there we go, I landed the up smash when he's on the platform, which that would have killed Meta Knight probably around maybe 100, 110. So the fact he was at like 128, I believe it was a little overkill, but so far the second stock is going very similar to the first stock. He's starting off with an early lead. 83% to 9 is a really big difference. I'm starting to get to kill percent in a way. He hasn't been using a lot of down smash. If he hits me with one, it could really do a lot of damage. Would not be good. And basically, even though R.O.B's kill percent is higher in this matchup, the fact that Meta Knight is able to edge guard him so well, abusing R.O.B's ability to air dodge through his up B, Meta Knight can pretty much just dare through anything I try to do. He can up B me, neutral air, anything. So I try to mix up my recovery, like going under the stage there, and I make options such as I almost always use the get up attack off the ledge, as it grants a certain amount of invincibility frames. The reason I do that, especially after a long recovery like that, is because R.O.B recovers his fuel for his up B, which is limited whenever he is standing on the ground. So any of the invincibility frames I can get while I am like in that get up attack, it counts as me being on the ground. So I'm recovering fuel. So in case I get knocked off right away, I'm going to be able to recover again quickly. Where if I don't and I get hit off again, it's really going to put me in a bad situation. So here we go, just same as last game. I'm in the 160s here. I'm doing all I can to get more damage on, but he takes his stock a little bit easier this time with a B to shield, very common thing for Meta Knight in this matchup. What I really like about this part of the game, though, is it starts off with 0 to I think 79% or so, and he still hasn't gotten any percent on me in this stock yet. And I trick him into a fully charged F smash, which kills him very early. So basically, from the entire deficit I had in this game, I just brought it back to even. So I'm really hoping I can continue to ride this momentum here to really pull out a good win. You'll hear me and Brock, the person who's recording the video, comment a couple of times on the fact that it turns out the person whose Wii this is had it hacked, so they used the Japanese sound files instead of the American ones. So the sound effects were a little bit different, which I found were pretty funny. Mennonite's death noise, if you can hear it, it's like him screaming in Japanese, which sounds quite funny. And when you pick Rob from the selection screen, it goes robot, not Rob. So it's just a little nice aesthetic touch there that I noticed that kind of made me laugh during the match. So third stock here continues. Still pretty even. The fact that F smash really hurt me, although still 78 to 86 to now 51%, really isn't too bad. But I'm getting edge guarded, and I go for what I normally do is here. Especially when I'm playing against an opponent that's on the ledge, I always take the shot. It's just if I have a gyro ready, I always throw it out there right at the ledge. And if they don't grab it right away or their invincibility frames run out, that gyro is going to smack into them. And unless they tech it, which I've personally never seen happen because nobody expects it, is it'll smack into them, stage spike them, and kill them at a very early percent. So despite being down about 100% to 50 or so, what I did worked, and a sealed match for me.